Hello, brilliant people. It is Cynthia Painter from Create Action Now, and we're going to talk today all things about introverts and extroverts. So let me ask you this. Would you like to be able to present well in public, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert? I think you would. So let's get on with today's video. Okay, so what we're going to have a look at today is what actually is an introvert and an extrovert. How does that turn up when it looks at presenting, facilitating, training, and public speaking? And how can you still be an effective trainer, presenter, facilitator, and speaker, whether you're an introvert or you're an extrovert? So, let's start with our definition. What is an extrovert and what is an introvert? Well, most people think of an extrovert as this big, gregarious, bubbly, over-the-top, life of the party person. And people think of introverts as these shy, retiring wallflowers that are up against the wall at any party. Now, let's look at really what the actual definition is. And yes, there's lots of versions of definitions out there, but this is the one that I think sits most accurately. So an introvert is somebody who gets their energy replenished internally, and an extrovert is somebody who gets their energy replaced and replenished externally. What that looks like is for introverts, quite often they'll want some time to themselves. That away from noise, away from people, just time to chill out. And that's where they get replenished and get their energy back. Whereas an extrovert can have a tired day and want to go out and hang out with all their friends. That's where they're going to get their energy back, right? And get replenished. Now, how does this mean then for being a presenter, a speaker, a facilitator, or a trainer? Well, stereotypically, people think that an introvert is going to have a hard time presenting because out in front of people, that whole shyness factor coming in. And that for extroverts, it's just going to be a natural, easy as, because it's their limelight and off they go. Well, it can work that way and it can't work that way sometimes. So quite often for introverts, they can actually be really great presenters, and extroverts can be really bad presenters. And let me tell you a bit why that's the case. See, introverts are really great because they're very reflective, right? They need to take time to take things in. They pause and they think about what's going to work and what's not going to work. But they also can get stuck in a little bit concerned if their space is being taken up too much by other people. And you see, for an extrovert, yes, can be big and bubbly and engaging, but they can actually take that way too far and actually be the center of the whole show. And that may be entertaining, but actually overwhelming. And an extrovert can forget about their audience unless they're getting the laughs or that engagement. So, what is it that we truly, truly need? Well, we need to have delivered on our promise on whatever it is that we were there to speak about, and we need to engage and connect with the audience. And both introverts and extroverts can do that really well. The key is engage and focus on that audience, right? So, for example, with me, most people would not know that I'm actually an introvert. If you've ever seen me in public speaking or on any of my Facebook lives, you'll see that I'm actually quite bubbly, and as I am here today, but really I'm an introvert. That means that when I go out and interact, It takes a lot of energy for me to do that, to put myself into the zone to be able to do that effectively. And then I need to go and replenish that exercise and energy by having some time out afterwards, some time to myself. I'm actually what they call a situational extrovert, so that I can turn it on in that moment. So let's have a look at what we actually need to do. What are the steps I want you to take away from here to be a great presenter, whether you're an extrovert or an introvert? Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is look at how you can focus on the audience. Whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, that's got to be your key. Being able to focus on that audience and get out of your own head. So for the introvert, what that means is really giving them attention and checking in, that lovely reflective piece and connecting that way, right? And knowing that what you have to say is important to them. That's why they've turned up. For the extrovert, it's actually bringing it down a notch. Sometimes all this energy can be overwhelming for the audience, and it can become a great show, but maybe not a great takeaway. So have a look and go, okay, well, how can I bring it back and centered to be for the audience rather than for me? The next is energy management. So for our introvert, I want you to have a look at what is the self-care and energy management that you can do for yourself before and afterwards. So yes, it does take energy to be on stage. You're there to put out to others that energy and connection. So what can you do to give yourself space beforehand, and what can you do to give yourself space afterwards? Definitely don't go and book meetings in like straight after, back to back. Give yourself some breathing space. For our extroverts, this again will come back to centering. So get your little fix beforehand. Maybe it is a coffee with some people before or some coffee with some people afterwards, and then center it as you come back in. For both our introvert and our extrovert, content delivery is key. So whatever it is that you're there to deliver on, make sure you follow through on the promise, and that way your presentation, your facilitation, or your training will hit the mark every time. So I'd like you to take an action from today. I want you to go out and share what your takeout from today has been. And particularly, I want you to focus on doing something where you're connecting to the audience and where you are taking some energy management. So 2 things for you: connecting to your audience and your energy management. So this could be in networking, this could be with family and friends, or this could be speaking. And I'd love you to come back and tell me how you went. Now you can do that via email, or you can go and do that on the YouTube subscription or on the Facebook page as well for Create Action Now. So off you go do that. Let me know how you go. I'd love to hear, and share and tag me in your learnings on that. Also, I'd like, if you haven't already, to subscribe or like to the page, to the website, or to the YouTube channel. Okay, now I'd love you to go out, have a go with that, and I look forward to seeing how you go with putting this into place. But until then, I look forward to hearing how you can share your message now. Bye.